Hey everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my channel. Today we are all about Dollar Tree vinyl placemats. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you click that button. For this project, we're starting with this Dollar Tree placemat. I love this one. I think it's so pretty for summer decor projects. And we're starting off by finding the center of it, and I'm going to mark it about an inch away from the center, and then I'm going to score it straight across like this, and I'm going to score it on both sides. You'll see when I turn it over right there. See how I made the marks? And I would say that's probably about 3 inches wide. And then I did decide to go ahead and remove the label, which as you can see comes off really easy with a little tiny bit of heat. And I'm going to go ahead and score again. So I measured in about 1.5 inches off the edges. You can do it thinner, you can do it wider, it's up to you. I just thought that would work for what I was wanting to achieve here. And I went ahead and I pressed using the scoring tool from the Dollar Tree. I just pressed and I scored on both outer. So this is the outer edge. You can see it right there. I did it on both sides. And then you should have something that looks like this when you're all done. There's lines on the outer edge and in the middle. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut it just right on, well, right where you see me cutting it right here on both ends. And this is just so I can start creasing and bending. I'm actually going to end up cutting it in at an angle a little bit just to make it fold easier, but I needed to do this just so I could get, you want to crease it at this point. So I'm taking this plastic, I forget what this is called, this little plastic piece here from the Dollar Tree. I believe it is used to smooth vinyl out maybe, but I'm using it for this and it works perfect. You can put a lot of pressure and get a nice strong crease so that it stays bent. So I definitely recommend you get a tool like this or a spatula in your kitchen. It's just that tool won't scrape your vinyl and damage the surface, if that translates. You know what I mean? If you use a metal spatula, you actually might damage this project. This has like a smooth kind of rounded edge. So if you find something like that at home, it would work just fine. And you can see here, I'm just bending it. And here I go in making the corner angle cuts that I spoke about earlier, and we're just folding this in to make like a little box. That's all we're doing. And I'm going to take some hot glue and secure the ends at the top and then down at the side seam. So essentially what I made here is just like this little square container. And this would actually be great for filing things too. I was looking at this thinking you could staple this on top of wood and make it like hold mail, decorate it, do whatever you want, but we're doing something else today. I'm going to take and punch a hole on either side of this. So it looks like that. And then I'm using the Dollar Tree nautical rope. This is the nautical rope that it comes, there's like, if you look at it close up, there's 3 strands that kind of swirl together and you can take those apart. So I took all 3 apart and I ended up with this looking string, right? This is how it looks. And I'm just putting a little hot glue on the ends to stop it from fraying. And we're going to use this as the handle. And then I knot it on the end and pull it through on either side. So little knots. So we have like a little hanging purse here. See that? Isn't that awesome? There it is. There's a nautical rope I'm talking about right there. And it comes apart in those 3 sections. So that's just all I did, was just use one of those sections only, and see how those are like little strings. I further took those apart, brushed them out, actually using a pet brush. I lost the film footage, but this is how you get it really broken up and stringy like this. And I tied it at the top, and I just thought it would be cute to add this little side tassel to the side of like my little purse. So when you see those decorative bags that hang on hooks in an entryway, they'll have like the hooks that are attached to a wood plaque hanging on the wall. I just thought it would be really fun to use one of these vinyl placemats to make something where you could hang decorative stuff like that for summer. I think this is so cute. I decided to add some half beads to the tassel at the top here, just one on top of the other. And then I'm going to go ahead and start filling this with greenery. So I just used boxwood. You could use anything. I was thinking pampas grass would even look good. It depends what your decorative style is, what's in your home, but this could be made to be modern. It could be made to be farmhouse. Even I've seen this like in the modern farmhouse. And then I did decide that it just needed some more accents. So I added some more wooden beads to each of those little loops. So I kind of saw the center medallion like a flower. And those are little petals, and I just put a bead at the end of each petal. But this is a $1.25 Dollar Tree placemat, you guys. It came up so high-end looking. Highly recommend this craft. So the next one, you're going to need a Dollar Tree stove top cover. This is a smaller one. It usually comes in a package of 2. I've never seen them in a package of 1, but just in case you do, you need the package of 2, and that's the smaller one. And this is a wood round from Walmart for $1. And it just happens to be that this fits perfectly in this stove top cover. I had used it for a really neat riser in a Christmas DIY for Christmas Tree Farm, for those of you that saw that. So I already knew this round would fit into the smaller stovetop cover. And I am using the wallpaper for this craft to cover the wood, but they do sell vinyl placemats that look like this with the blue accents. It's just I couldn't find any in my Dollar Tree and I wanted blue accents. So you could just substitute that with a vinyl placemat and cut the circle. It's no big deal. They're probably both vinyl actually. I think that's just the wallpaper's vinyl as well. It's just thinner. And then I used a little bit of glue to stick it down on top of the stovetop cover. And we're using this Dollar Tree candlestick holder. And I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the bottom. That is a very secure hold, by the way. That's Sure Bonder glue. It works really well, but that's it. This was so simple. And what I needed it for were my apples, because I like them cold out of the refrigerator. My husband likes them room temperature, and I just needed somewhere to kind of put them where they could sit on the counter for him, separate from other things, where they're easy to grab. But look how colorful and playful that is. I love this one. For this next project, I'm using a Dollar Tree box. I think this is like a gift box. It says Celebrate on the top. You can use it for parties, but I just love the shape, and I'm going to show you what fun things you can make with this that look actually really high end. So I started off this time by removing the Dollar Tree price tag there, and then I just took the box and I start tracing it out and getting a template, and I'm just using one side here, and I'm going to cut out the vinyl placemat, and I am going to use the actual vinyl placemat for the template for the rest of it. So I check to make sure it fits. You want to be, obviously before you use it as a template, you want to make sure you've got a good cut. And then I found if I used these pink clamps, also available at the Dollar Tree, it just holds everything really tight, because the vinyl placemats do want to slip around a little bit, which makes them difficult to cut evenly. So the clamps come in really handy. Now I'm using some Mod Podge, and I did this on purpose for the initial application because it allows you to move it around and slide it so you get it in position. And then to hold it in place, I just used a little bit of hot glue along the edges. And of course, I did this for all 4 sides, so the entire box is covered. Next, I grabbed 2 of these Crafter Square canvases, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the staples. I'm after the wood frame on the inside, and I have this neat little stapler remover here. I believe I got this off of Amazon. And I bought it for staples actually in my stairs when I removed carpet because I got floor put in. It's awesome. But if you don't have that, I also had good luck with a utility knife, slipping it under there and loosening them that way. And you could also just use regular wood if you wanted to, if you have it, and cut it for this. You could use the towering blocks to do this, for that part. The part that I'm going to use the frame for from the canvas, it would all work. And now I'm taking some craft sticks and I'm cutting them to fit on the sides, because when you cover these boxes, you do have a seam on the side. You don't have to cover the seam. I mean, if you get a really tight fit, you won't really notice it, but I just wanted to finish this off to make it look really nice. And again, using the pink clamps, these are awesome for holding everything in place. I just went ahead and I cut there's 2 for each side. So I went ahead and cut 8 of the craft sticks all together. And now I'm using some antique wax. So we're just going to give this a quick little stain on both sides. We're doing all of the wood pieces here. We're going to stain them. And of course, we're going to go ahead and give the wooden frames a quick stain too. Now I will say, in hindsight, I didn't realize how cheap the wood is in the canvas frames. So I would actually recommend that you use either a wooden stake that you get from Dollar General or from Walmart, or the towering blocks, or just some other wood for this. You can even buy the wood from Dollar Tree. And I went ahead and dried the craft sticks. I don't know if you noticed that. I put them in a jar and dried them that way so they didn't fly all over the table. That's a nice little trick right there to make it easy for you. And now I'm just applying them to the edges to finish this off. And then I decided to go ahead and paint the edges and a little bit down inside the box white, just so you won't notice it as much. You can do this, you probably should do this first. I didn't. I always make last minute decisions, you guys, but it's good for you because you can see what, not to do, I guess, or the faster, easier root. So I'm painting it down just a little bit, as you can see on the sides, and that's it. You can paint the whole box if you want. I just didn't because it's not necessary. I'm going to use this, as you know, right here as like a little planter. Look at how cute this is. So I'm just taking the frames to glue them on the side. These are going to be the legs, and it's going to make an awesome, modern, high-end looking planter. For this next one, I grabbed this Coffee Makes Everything Better placemat and a Dollar Tree 8x10 frame. This is so simple, I'm not even sure you can consider this a DIY, but I wanted to show it because it shows what a difference a frame can make with a border. To me, this particular placemat never appealed to me at the Dollar Tree. I just thought it looked kind of like something was missing, like it's too empty on the sides to be a placemat or too busy in the center. It just looked unbalanced. So I decided just to cut it. Simple, super easy peasy, stick it in an 8x10 frame, and you'll see here how the outer edge, now definitely in my opinion you should look for a frame that has that outer edge cardboard. That gives it an additional frame. I forget what that's called. Shoot, somebody tell me in the comments. I used to know that word, the white frame around the center there. But look at what a difference a frame makes. A cheap, nasty placemat looks like, to me, a nice sign that I would actually purchase for far more than I paid. I'm using it in my coffee bar area. I think it is so cheerful. And the next projects are the compilation of all of the vinyl placemat DIYs I have done in the past. As promised, I'm categorizing everything for you guys to make it easier for you to find. I found this vinyl mat at the Dollar Tree, and I'm using one of the little Dollar Tree rounds that I found at Valentine's Day. You can find those on and off all year round though with the seasons. And I'm just going to lay it down and trace this out so that it fits hopefully pretty even right in the center with this imagery. Then I'm cutting it out, and you'll notice it's not perfectly covering. There's a little flat area at the top. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix that later. But I'm using this craft bond glue that I actually bought by accident at Walmart. It's the extra strength one, and it's really, really good if you want to glue down things that are hard to glue down that maybe a normal glue stick wouldn't handle. That glue stick handles it like a champ. So for the top part, I just cut out a little extra cream colored vinyl off the scrap pieces that I had left. And for this part, I did use Mod Podge. I did that because at the time I felt like I needed it. The glue stick sometimes you don't have as much wiggle room. It will start to dry really quick because it's dry. It is a drier glue, so it's a little sticky, and I wanted some time to wiggle that around and make sure that I got it really close to the seams, you know, so that it didn't have a big line in between as much as possible. This plate is also a Dollar Tree find. It's one of their charger plates. I love these for DIYs and home decor because of the little, they're not engravings. I guess it's that little design on the edge there. They look like little tiny mini beads. They're like little nubs or something. I love them, and I love to bring them out on purpose. So I'm painting just the edge because that's all you're going to see with the color plaster in Waverly chalk paint, and now I'm using pewter gray from Apple Barrel paint. Now when I first start doing this, I'm really disappointed. Do you see to the left there? It's way too heavy. I start getting it right now. At this point it's a very dry brush technique. I just want to hit the top of that design just to bring that design out. So I do end up trying to take a baby wipe there. I'm rubbing it off, trying to see if that works. It doesn't work. It kind of leaves a shadow and it doesn't match the rest of them. So ultimately I do end up taking more of the Waverly chalk paint and plaster, and you can see me doing it right there. I'm just repainting over. It's a wonderful thing about painting, you guys, you can just repaint. I'm repainting over the edge there so I can get a nice clean slate to have another chance at this again. So I go ahead and finish dry brushing the whole edge, and it looks good enough. It's okay if some of them are a little darker. That's nice. It adds a little character, but you don't want it to be extreme where you're getting too much paint in between the little bubbles or whatever. Bobbles? I don't know what those are. If somebody knows what those are, comment down below. So here's the final result with the top part of the vinyl that I put on this round. It did have a little seam, and it turns out that the color plaster in the Waverly chalk paint is a perfect match for this vinyl placemat. So I just added a little paint inside the seam and that took care of it. You don't see it anymore. And now I'm using some hot glue. Now this is Surebonder hot glue, which is not that expensive. You can get it at Walmart, on Amazon. It's really not that expensive. And it claims to go ahead and hold glass and plastic and wood. It's like a multi-purpose glue and I'm really pleased with it so far. It does. It's been holding great. I haven't had it fall off, so I just wanted to pass that on. Then I just glue that round on top of the plate, and I am now using some ribbon I got at Temu. It's little buffalo check ribbon there, and I'm hot gluing on. Now I was really torn whether I should put a bow or not, but I just felt like that spot was empty, so I went with the bow. Let me know what you think, but this is in my kitchen and I absolutely love this. I took it outside, went to my to-go-to little clear acrylic Mod Podge spray, and here it is. For this next project, I'm using a vinyl placemat from Dollar General and a vinyl placemat from the Dollar Tree. I just thought that would be neat to combine them because I found two very similar ones at both stores, but they were complementary, and I thought I can do something with this in a combination act. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm starting off by just trimming them down a little bit here. You just draw a straight line, and I'm trying to catch the words, or as much of the words as I can. I couldn't do it with the other placemat totally. I did lose some of the word, but I still think it looks fantastic. Even if you cut into some of the words, it's got that patchwork thing going on, so anything goes. So now we're using the Dollar Tree signs. You can find these in the Crafters Square section. They come in brown, black, and white. I'm using a brown one, and I took a handsaw and just cut these down really fast because they're kind of like cardboard. They're not cardboard, but they're, you know, the MDF border. I like it because it's easier to cut than wood and it's just as firm. So I went ahead and used Mod Podge to glue, I'm covering the sides of this, and then when it was dry, I took my craft knife, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using that just to trim. Now, to be honest, I have really super sharp scissors, I have to be honest, and I did do the rest of this with sharp scissors. I felt like I had more control, and it came out just as straight. The reason I didn't use scissors initially is because I was worried it would come out crooked, but it did come out just as straight. So if you have sharp scissors, just use those. And now on the end, so I have like two sides that are equal, and I did this by eye. I'm so sorry I didn't measure it. I just kind of tried to make a proportional box, so I did it by eye. I would guess the end was probably about 5 inches, and then whatever was left over on the board. There's 2 boards total that I used here. That's what ended up being the sides. But here I took a combination of both placemats on the ends. I thought that would be neat. So I'm using a little bit from one placemat, and then the bottom half, the little strip right there, is the other placemat. So I just thought that was kind of neat, and it would tie it in. And I did tape them. Please tape it with masking tape or whatever tape you have. Well, masking tape didn't remove any of the print, but it really helped for measuring and keeping everything in place when I was gluing, to have those 2 little pieces at the bottom taped. So I set those aside to dry, and when they were dry, I went ahead and took the Surebonder hot glue. Again, this is supposed to be for all kinds of materials, wood, glass. It is a very strong glue. I've been very satisfied with it, because sometimes with hot glue you can have trouble with temperature changes or humidity. It'll suddenly pop off. This has been wonderful for not doing that. And I'm just gluing all of these sides together to form a box. I'm reinforcing the inside of the seam right here so it doesn't come apart. And then I'll just take my Dollar Tree little spatula that's made for makeup and mask. It's in the makeup section. It's made for mask, I think. Right there, the pink one. And I'm just going to go ahead and smooth it down the best I can so it's not lumpy in there. Now, I will say that these pink ones at the Dollar Tree that have a spatula on either end are much firmer and more similar to the original one that made such a big hit 3 years ago in the crafting scene. Now, here's the stakes from the Dollar General. I had made a video on those, and I had bought about 20 of them. They are great for crafting. If you find them at the Dollar General, they're only $1 and easy to cut, lickety split, same saw. I just cut them down. I'm taking a nail file now just to file off any of the little rough edges. And now I'm using some of the antique wax, watered down. All I did was put a little wax in that tray there and then use spray water in a spray bottle. It's those little spray bottles again in the Crafter's Square at Dollar Tree. And I just squirted it to make it more watery, and it makes a beautiful stain. But you can use paint watered down. You can use a regular stain, whatever you guys like. You can use it. It will work. This is just what I wanted to work with. I like how slippery it is. There's also a water-based acrylic stain that I love. It's down below in my description box from Amazon. That works wonderful too. No scent, no smell, lasts forever. I just want to use my wax up right now, but I will be buying that again. And then I went ahead and for me on this box, I decided to go with foam board for the bottom. So what I've done in the past is I have used Dollar Tree signs to put on the bottom, but they tend to be really, really heavy, and I don't want to see any edges. I want it to look like it's store-bought. So I want to keep the bottom light, and I want to keep it higher than the edge. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. And I'm taking some Dollar Tree material that I found in the craft section, and we're just going to glue it on to cover the foam board. And all I did was wrap this up like a present. You can see the edges right there. I just tucked it in just like you're wrapping a gift. So this is how I did it. This is how I overcome the problem of things not looking store-bought, I guess. I went ahead and took some of the towering blocks and I glued them all around the edge, and then we're going to sit the bottom on top of that. Now you can take a little bit of thin cardboard or a thin Dollar Tree sign and push it up against the other side of those blocks to cover that if you want. I don't care because no one's going to see it, but if that bothers you, you can cover it. Just tuck them up a little higher to make sure that when you glue the board on, it's above the line, because you don't want, these boards don't look good when the edges are showing. They just don't. So we're covering the edge with a vinyl. Now we're covering the edge with the actual little stakes, the wood stakes. They're going to be the legs. You can see I'm doing it here. I'm sorry it's out of camera view a little bit, but I'm just gluing it down right there. That covers the edge of the MDF board. The bottom you can cover it in another way. And if you, again, tuck it up higher than the bottom, don't glue it where you see the edges. And then to handle the edges on the top, I'm just taking some of the furniture pens from the Dollar Tree. I did accidentally use mahogany when I very first did it, so now I'm going over with the walnut one because I wanted it to be a darker brown. And that's it. Look how beautiful this came out. It's perfect for magazines, towels, flowers. I'm going to stage it with some flowers because I don't have enough magazines right now, but it's beautiful. This is my favorite vinyl mat, I think, that Dollar General carried. And I decided to cut some more of the stakes. You can see right there, they're cut. And there's little rough edges. I'm going to take my scissors to cut that off, and then I'll just use a little bit of sandpaper to further smooth the edge down a little bit. But I'm using 2 of those Dollar Tree signs again in black. There's the wood stakes again. I'm going to go ahead and cut my twine off the end. My first thoughts are, ooh, this will be a really awesome long tray. It'll have some of the shiplap type looking wood sticking out on either end. It'll look awesome. The handles will cover the holes. But I do end up invariably cutting these boards down because I feel the tray's a little too long with the placemat. It just doesn't look quite right, and you'll see that later. But I'm taking some white acrylic paint. This is just white apple barrel paint, and I'm giving the wood a dry brush. Or it's not wood, it's the MDF board, but I'm giving it a dry brush. And then, of course, to get these handles to match, I'm going to go ahead and paint them black, right? We have to start off with black, just like the sign. Once they're dry, we'll go ahead and do the dry brushing again with the white paint to get it to all come together and match. If your tray is just decorative, you can absolutely skip this part. I am actually going to use this tray, so I wanted to add a little bit more of a brace where the two seams met together underneath. And here's what I was talking about earlier. I mentioned this. I made the decision when I put the placemat down that I really didn't want this tray to be that long after all. So I tore the handle off before it was finished drying, and I scooched it up. So we're just going to cut that end off right there. We're going to make this a shorter tray, and I also thought it made the tray less flimsy too, because there is that center seam. It just creates more stability if you shorten it a little bit, and that's what I did. So now we're using a little bit of gray paint. I just took the black and white paint and kind of mixed it together, and it made a beautiful complementary edge for this tray. And now I'm using wood glue, and I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue just to tack it down so it stays in place, and we're going to glue this last handle down. I don't know about you guys, but I have finally come up with a temporary solution for ruining my clothes crafting. I went and got all those cheap, you know, those men's t-shirts that are 100% cotton, totally comfortable, totally cool, cheap. I think a package of 6 for like $19.99. I just got a bunch of those, and that's what I'm crafting in now. I'm comfortable, I'm cool, and I don't worry if the paint splatters all over my clothes. In fact, I sometimes put it over my shirt that I'm wearing during the day. I just put the big, it's like my craft shirt. I just put it on and I don't have to worry. So, well, when I'm going to be dry brushing or using, you know, dark paints like black, I just put on that cotton shirt, and it's like an apron that's nice and cool. Anyway, let me know what tricks you guys have come up with. I do have aprons, but they don't always work out real well. Sometimes my sleeves get messy, so I just thought, what are you doing? Just buy some cheap t-shirts. You're a crafty person. Anyway, we're using Mod Podge to Mod Podge this down, and we're going to go ahead and seal it in with Mod Podge as well, because like I said, I am planning on using this. It's going to hopefully get quite a bit of use. I was going to put it on top of my ottoman, maybe put my coffee here during the day when I'm, you know, enjoying a warm cup of coffee, watching a movie. It's perfect, but I love this. This next one was a lot of fun. I have been seeing the wine glass little vinyl placemats, it seems like forever since I've been shopping at the Dollar Tree, and I thought, you know, what can I do with this? These are kind of, it's difficult to craft with those. I had a couple ideas. I was going to make a wine box at some point to like store your wine bottles in on your counter, but what I ended up deciding I thought would be cute is to do a pumpkin. These are total fall colors. They're warm, they're burgundies and browns and orange and gold, and I want to make a pumpkin for my kitchen. And I thought, well, how neat. This is kind of tying in like a kitchen theme because it's got the wine glasses and, you know, it looks like a kitchen type placemat, and it's going to be for fall. So I went ahead and did a pumpkin. I freehanded it. I had a really hard time getting the other side even. So as you saw, I cut out half the pumpkin. Then I took a piece of computer paper, put it down, traced it, that half, on the paper, and then I got a nice even, you know, I just put it on the other side and traced the piece of paper, and then I got a more symmetrical pumpkin. Look how cute that is, though. I was so pleased with this one. I really wasn't sure how it was going to come out, and I thought, well, you perfect little kitchen pumpkin, you, when I was all done. That's perfect. Especially if you have like those little stands like my first DIY where I put the plate in it. It's like a plate holder. It would be so cute on a kitchen counter during the fall season. So I'm using cardboard. You guys love when I do my cardboard crafts, so I thought I would throw it in here. I am using 2 of them because this cardboard, it was really clean and nice. It was on the inside of a package, but it was a little thinner, so I went ahead and used 2 of them, and I'm just going to glue those 2 pieces of cardboard together to create it, you know, make it more sturdy. And there I go. So we glue those 2 together, and then we're going to glue the vinyl placemat on top. So I've talked about this in previous videos. When you work with cardboard, at least for me, it will just look cheap and nasty if you don't cover the sides. You have to cover the sides. It's mandatory, you guys. If you want the craft to look really nice in your home. If you don't care, it's okay too, but this is just my thing. I have to cover it. So this decorative twine that you can find at the Dollar Tree was perfect for this. I went ahead and I covered the entire pumpkin with this decorative twine ribbon. Here's some pretty fall ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree. It's perfect for autumn. And all of that ribbon is from the Dollar Tree. And if you watched my first Dollar Tree with me, shot with me video for this summer, that little netting right there that I'm holding right there, I thought that would be perfect for an autumn craft, and here we go, we're using it. Now I'm making something called a messy bow here. If you want to see the full tutorial, I do have a bow video. It's linked down below in my description box. It's time stamped, so you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to. You can just look for the bow that you're looking for, click it. You know, it's in the top pinned comment there. You can just click the time and it will take you straight to that part of the video. And you can look for messy bow. So what is an autumn craft without raffia? Everyone knows I love my raffia at autumn. I always add it in there because for me that is just kind of the thing. I love raffia, and it's especially appropriate during fall and autumn crafts. So I'm just taking a little bit of the raffia. I got this raffia on Amazon. It's really nice. If you can find them, you can also use the hula skirts from the Dollar Tree, but I'm just making a little raffia bow there. I'm going to trim it up kind of haphazardly there so it looks nice and rustic, which I love, especially during fall. And that's it. We are going to put a hanger on the back of this. I kind of regretted that I did that because I think I am going to want to put it in one of those plate holders instead and put it on my kitchen counter, so I might take the hanger off. But if you want to hang it up, what I did is I took some of the Dollar Tree nautical rope, I went ahead and hot glued it on the back, and then I used some duct tape to cover that while the glue was still hot so it would all kind of meld together. I usually use masking tape for this, but they don't have the wide masking tape right now at Dollar Tree, and I do like the tape to be wide, so duct tape works just fine too. It's just to reinforce it so it's not just relying on the hot glue, and I've never had trouble with this falling off. You can even put it outside. It works really, really well. And I'm just trimming the edges there to round it out so that the tape, you don't see it on the edge, and we're all done. Maybe it's just me, but that saying right there, friends and family gather here, to me is definitely an autumn type sign. It's an autumn type saying. So I thought, I just made a pumpkin. I'm going to stay in the theme here and make some pretty fall stuff. I actually can't wait for fall, you guys. I love crafting all year round, but of course holidays are my favorite time for a lot of people because that's when the crafting videos get the most views. I mean, a lot of people love to craft during the holidays, but I thought it would be fun. You can leave this up all year round if you want, but it does remind me of autumn. And I went ahead, I'm using one of those Dollar Tree signs again. I love them, love them, love them. Look at that. I used to have to do paint sticks to make like a shiplap look, or we'd have to score the board. Dollar Tree has just brought out so many things to make it so much easier for crafters. It's all ready to go. So I cut the board, and I actually cut on the other side a little bit of too. You can see it on the left hand side. I kind of made it a little bit rough too on the edge because I wanted it to match. I didn't catch that on film, sorry about that, or I did and I didn't put it in here. I caught it on film, but I didn't put it in this video. And all I'm doing now is just trimming this little mat down to fit this sign. I love ticking stripe. That's what we have on the edge there. And I thought, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that ticking stripe, but I'm going to cut it and keep it. We're going to get it on this sign. And I decided to put it on the ends just like that in the end there. And I think it complemented it so much and kept that whole country look, because ticking stripe is so country. It's so farmy. Farmy, is that a word? I don't know, but it's just so perfect again for fall, or if you do farmhouse decor, it's perfect. So I'm taking a little bit of the white paint again. We're going to dry brush this. That's the only thing about these signs, is they are very stock, I guess. I mean, they don't do anything with them. They're a blank slate for you, and I like to usually dry brush them a little bit because otherwise they don't look as much like real wood. So you either can paint them solid because the paint covers it, you don't know what's going on under there, that it's an MDF board, or you can dry brush it. That makes it look nicer too, but just get something on there to make them look a little bit more expensive, I guess. Now I'm taking a glue stick again. This extra strength glue stick worked like a charm. It held these vinyl mats. I wasn't sure whether or not it was going to because vinyl is really slippery, but it held them beautifully. So that is an option. I cannot vouch for a regular glue stick. I have a feeling it would work, but you'd have to be very generous. But the extra strength one from Walmart definitely works, and I think it runs about $5 for a large one. So I'm just putting that down, and I'm going to go ahead and put the ticking stripe on either side. So now I'm using a black furniture marker. You find them in a set of 3 at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going around the edge of that placemat a little bit, and I'm not keeping the line totally straight. I want it to look a little bit rustic and, you know, distressed, I guess, and antiqued. And the final step to make this come together so that it is cohesive is to put a little bit of dry brushing on the top of the vinyl mat. And I think this sign came out so nice. It is perfect for an entry table, a console table, or a shelf. This next one's fun, really easy, and so high-end looking. I found these little signs. I think they're signs at the Dollar Tree. They're not, I'm going to make coasters, but I don't think these are coasters. And what I thought would be fun is to make a reversible coaster. So have one for like summer, and then this one to me kind of looks more like a fall, maybe Christmas, because it looks like it might be snow, or it looks a little snowy to me, or like cotton, those, you know, that cotton look that cotton has. It just has that look to me with the colors, the white and the brown. That's perfect for fall and perfect for the Christmas season as well, or even maybe not Christmas, because I always like to go all out and do Christmassy Christmas stuff, but maybe New Year's, the winter. So I thought, well, this would be neat if we could do a summer one. So I went with a little bit of a coastal look with this next choice of vinyl mats here, and I'm just going to use Mod Podge to glue it down. I mean, literally just trace these out. It's super straightforward. This is an easy DIY, and it would make a great gift too for like Mother's Day or a friend, or just if you go to a party, instead of bringing a bottle of wine or something, or an hors d'oeuvre, this would be a fun thing to bring as a house gift. But I just went ahead and glued it down with Mod Podge, let it dry. When it was dry, I trimmed off any excess that was over the edge, and that was it. We had these great little reversible coasters that look totally high end, and they are pennies on the dollar and easy to make. Some of you may remember me finding these at the Dollar Tree, the Hot Wheel tracks. I said I had some ideas for them. This actually wasn't one of the ideas, but I am always coming up with new stuff. So this is what I'm doing with them for this craft. So here's another placemat. Love it. Think it's so cute. I wanted to try and make a really high-end looking frame for it. So I'm taking foam board here, and I'm leaving about 2 inches around the edge, just extra. I knew it was wider than what I needed, but I wanted to make sure I didn't cut it short. And I'm going to glue the vinyl mat down on top of the foam board. So now we're making 45-degree cuts here. And I don't know if I got a dead pair of shears, but I can't get them to cut the tracks. It was not clamping down tight enough, and this is my first experience with those shears. So someone comment down below, let me know if that's only meant to cut thicker wood and they're not supposed to clamp all the way down, or if I got a dead pair, because they definitely were not cutting. But it's okay because my sharp scissors finished it off. So as you can see, we have a beautiful frame. Look at that. They are perfect for a frame. So I went ahead and took some of the Waverly chalk paint, again in plaster, and I painted these. They did require 2 coats, but here's the thing, guys, I would not recommend you hand paint these. There's all little nooks and crannies, and the paint kind of gathers in them. You can see it right there. I highly recommend you take these out and spray paint them. The spray paint would stick better. You won't get any of the paint pooling anywhere. and it would come up perfect. It still came up totally cute. You can't notice it because, you know, I just make sure I took my little craft knife and went and cut the little pooling paint out of there the best I could, and where I couldn't, I tried to do other details so it would, you know, just distract from that. But it would have been a lot easier if I just took it out and spray painted it. So next time, it was raining that day and that's why I didn't do it, but next time I will definitely do that. So I just used regular old school glue. It was cheap school glue from Dollar General. Kind of wanted to experiment with it to see how good that glue was, and it's holding up beautiful. Everything's fine. And I glued this down on top of the foam board, and this is while the frame is drying with the second coat. And now we're just going to go ahead and start gluing the frame down. It's that simple. You're gluing it on top of the foam board. So I started by gluing it under the first ridge there and then the second ridge later. And then when it was dry, I just took my craft knife and then trimmed all of the foam board off a little bit at an angle under the frame so you can't see it from the edge. If it's hanging on the wall, you won't see the edge of the foam board. And then I do end up taking some spackling and filling in the little edges there, because you can see the edges right there, wall repair, that's spackling. I didn't like, you know, you can leave it, it doesn't look bad, but I just wanted it to look more finished, and I didn't like the way there was that little crack there. But this is a great Hot Wheel hack, I guess. Great hack. These make fantastic looking frames in my opinion. You can spray paint them white with a primer, a really strong adhesive type spray paint, and then you can take wax and you can stain them if you want and make them look like real wood. You can paint them another color. You can do so many different things with these. Now, I did have a little overlap with hot glue, so I just took some tweezers. Because this is vinyl, it doesn't stick. I did take some tweezers and just peel the hot glue away, and if it took some of the paint with it, I touched it up, but we're all done, and I think this came up super nice. For this one, I'm using more of the same vinyl placemats that I did for the coasters, because I actually thought this might be a nice little set on a table or in a bathroom, wherever you want to put it. And I just took one of the 8x10 Dollar Tree frames, took the glass out, painted them white, like dry brushed them. Sorry I didn't include that in here. I just figured you guys would know what that is. And for whatever reason, when I downloaded all of my videos off of my camera, that one's on my camera, but my computer wouldn't recognize it, so I didn't get to include it, but it's not going to interfere with the tutorial. I literally just took the glass out of an 8x10 frame and painted the frame. So I went ahead and cut the placemat down to put it inside the frame, and I wanted to we're making a tier tray. I wanted to make a different tier tray because we all have seen so many tier trays. I didn't want to do something that was totally redundant for you guys and repetitive. And I thought, why not do something? Oh, I wanted to show you. That's the hot glue from Surebonder. It's supposed to hold glass, and it did. It was really good. So I just went ahead and used the hot glue. And I'm filling these up with these little gems here because I'm kind of doing a coastal theme. We've all been seeing all the coastal stuff in Dollar Tree this summer. This would even be a boho theme too, but I just wanted to do a unique, different kind of tier tray for something different, so you would have something different in your home and some different ideas. And I thought that this hit the bill. It came up super cute. But I could definitely picture this in a bathroom. If you're into coastal, perfect. I had so much fun making these. I don't know about you guys, but I will never look at Dollar General or Dollar Tree vinyl placemats the same ever again. There are so many possibilities to take them to another level and create beautiful home decor. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment, and until the next one, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.